Yorm's favor.
I'll try and get
that
my
it kinda
webcam
didn't
back,
really
but
make a lot of
if not, it's not the end of the
sense.
world.
Yeah, it feels good when you're doing it.
You guys have seen
but
what I look like.
It needed to be toned down a little bit so that we're like, okay, we're in a good position. We have, like, it's a lot more balanced. And we also felt that we're like, okay, well, it's in chains. It's not the easiest bash to access. It's not, but at the end of the day, looking at the data, looking at player feedback, where all that went, we decided to make a change. So for first, is Jordan Farewell and no longer chains on miss, which means that if you correctly read that Yorm is going to do that move, and you dodge, you get a guard break. Now, this might feel like a massive nerf, but let me tell you something.
Tell me.
If you're trying to do side dodge into guard break, you leave yourself vulnerable to feint into guard break from Yorm. So you still have to make that choice. It's still risky, and it's still riskier for the opponent, right? There's still a bit more risk for the opponents, but if
I think I've got that
correct
back.
read, then they can actually get
Apologies
a
for that.
24 damage. So it's kind of like on average. So that's kind of like the idea here, right? So because
Don't want to cover Yorm's face now. Don't want to cover this
it's okay. And then before,
handsome gentleman
zone afterwards,
with
you
the hammer there.
Really ever do I say dodge to guard break.
I might put
Unless you did,
myself
like,
down. Where
super
could I put
crazy
myself?
early dodge, and it was like really particular. So in this case, like with this, it's more balanced. And on top of this,
I'll put myself there
now deals 26 damage, down from 30. So in this case, it's if Yorm gets the correct read, lands the bash, he gets
Right, we're back. Apologies.
if your opponent gets the
That's only like the
read,
second or
you get
third
either a dodge
thing to
attack
go wrong.
or potentially a guard break into generally 24. So the risk reward proposition here is a lot different. It's less skewed toward Yorm. Typically, we've been doing.
I never know about Yorm's
very heavily
face paint
rewarded.
here. He
So
just kind
this
of
is a bit
looks
of
like
a
he's
nerf
been
in this
shot in the
case.
head.
Should feel a bit better to play against. We've seen a lot of comments, a lot of feedback about
Not quite sure in that fashion there, Yorm.
Right. So yeah, less skewed kind of feels like more balanced.
Yeah,
So
right. Exactly.
It's
more
interesting.
balance.
Interesting. Okay.
Just need more balance. All right.
Just a little.
Okay. Next up, we have Scent. So we're aware. I'm just gonna start that. There's
Haven't played Scent in a
problem
long
with,
time, actually.
Tracking on
I didn't
Centurion,
do-
when you do a light into a fully charged jab.
Didn't
and
do
then
too badly with him
double dodge
when I
into
played him
a
for a very short period a
If
couple of years
the
ago. So
answer
maybe
was
I'll
as
pick him up again.
simple As when somebody on the team, including me, clicking something and it worked, we would have done it. Unfortunately, it's a tricky proposition. The way the move is built is different from other chargeable bashes. And because of that, it's a lot trickier. We're going to require animation.
Oh, has my camera gone again?
Things to really
No, it hasn't.
flesh it
I was
out
just
properly. So,
not moving.
it's taking a bit more time than we wanted to fix it.
I looked to my left and I was
I
like,
just wanna make sure,
oh,
like,
I'm in the
I
same
get
position,
it
but
clear
then
for
it was because I
players.
literally
Not
just
that
wasn't
we're
moving.
Not aware,
So,
not that we
there
don't
we
want
go.
to fix it. Is that it's more complex than we anticipated initially. We did a change before that helped, but
I'll drink some water so I can see that I'm moving.
that's where we're going at. But today on Scent, what we're doing is we gave uninterruptible stance on charge jab 100 ms earlier.
Nice.
Now you might be going, what does that change, right? Well, it does change something quite a bit, actually, which is Centurion, like other heroes, when you did a light attack into a charge jab, that's the case when you took here, for example, you could get lighted out of the charge jab, right? Because the armor, like the uninterruptible stance, kicked in at 200 ms. Now that it kicks in at 100, if you go light into fully charged jab, your opponent just cannot light you out of it ever. So they actually do have to respect what you're going to be doing a little bit better. It's still commit full. You still have to commit to the attack. You still have to get into it. But at least you're a bit safer when you do it, which is a big part of what we're doing for Scent. It makes a lot of sense as we go towards and getting the rest of the heroes' issues in order.
Nice.
So that's like it's a bit of a quality of life, but it also makes a big difference because now it's a lot safer to throw out lights and go into jab.
Nice. So respect the Scent now. You like it.
Exactly.
All right.
And then last but not least, Nusha. So
It's my girl.
right, it's your girl, right?
I love her so much.
So Nusha, we had I'm gonna say we're gonna nerf caltrops.
No.
So for a long
Nerfing
time,
caltrops?
Nusha
What?
was not,
They are pretty annoying though, aren't they,
not
actually?
super viable in Dominion.
Especially when you're like stuck in a
You will
corner.
not use those feats. She's a very 1v1 centered hero. We've done some buffs to her so that like she has better trajectories on her heavies and stuff, so you can like defend yourself maybe a little bit more in group fights, hit people externally. That's great. But at the same time, once we got
Thing is, Nusha's not amazing in 4 versus 4,
all
like
of a sudden, she's
with her moveset. So the caltrops, in a way,
I have noticed.
and
Yes.
it's
made her a
an
bit more
interesting thing
viable.
because those traps are
So we'll probably
like, the
see her
better
less
player
in
facing,
4v4.
the stronger they are, because better players tend to make correct reactions to everything, and she's built to defeat correct reactions. So that's kind of like that was like a big part of how we built Nusha back in the
Yeah.
day. So that works well, but because she works so much better, Caltrops, which was I'm I'm not biased or anything, but I think it was by far the best feat in the game. It beats out Corruption even as a tier 1, beats out Fire Flask, beats out like Spear Storm, like all sorts of crazy feats. This beat them. Partially, pretty much because the cooldown on it was extremely short.
Yeah.
And the uptime was also extreme.
Shinobi's Shurikens as a tier 2 was a pretty powerful feat as well.
45 seconds cooldown.
I think it got nerfed though, but you can actually one-shot people with that feat if they GB as you use it, because all like 4 of the Shurikens would hit and they each do like 20, which is like 80 damage in 1
Wait 20 seconds.
millisecond.
And in those 20 seconds, more minions came, dropped Caltrops again, cleared out the whole lane again, right?
Listen,
So she was a monster. But
I was,
she was,
I was
sorry.
kind of hoping you didn't notice my strategy, but now here we are.
That's how it goes.
Oh no.
But the problem is that when the character was not really picked, it still is a problem,
Yeah.
right? There's no question that it wasn't a problem, but it wasn't as high on our priority list because the hero was underperforming herself. So we wanted to make sure that we buffed her up before we ended up nerfing some of the more like unhealthy parts of her kit. So with this, we've nerfed Caltrops significantly, but you'll see how it works. So basically now her cooldown for Caltrop is 90 seconds, so it's instead of 45, so it's doubled. We doubled the cooldown, and it's now active for 15 seconds instead of 25. You can still go into the lane and drop it. We haven't touched the damage. We haven't touched the radius. We haven't touched like any of those other parts of the feat. We really just worked on her cooldown and how long it's active for. So this way, you can still go use it like you were using it before. You just can't use it as often as you did before.
You're tough but fair.
I'm tough but
You're
fair.
tough
right?
but
That's,
fair. All right,
that's how it
see
goes.
this.
We're trying to like really make sure that this is more balanced.
Yeah.
It's been a comment we've been hearing from a lot of pro players
Right,
for a
right.
long
It's true.
time.
It's true.
And I remember we have some discussions like ongoing with some players, and when we did the Nusha testing grounds with the improved traps, their number one worry was, oh my god, Caltrops. Oh my god, Caltrops. Oh my god, Caltrops. Right? I kept getting messages from a bunch of people about this, and I get it, right? We wanted to give her like at least one season, like one TU, to kind of get into the groove. But now that we're there, it's time to.
It was a beautiful tea.
Yeah, it was a beautiful TU. It had to come from it.
Welcome
so
guys,
that's pretty much
if you
it,
are
in terms
joining
of, balancing.
just now as well.
Patch
They
notes.
have
So as I said,
revealed the
it's
hero
not the biggest patch
already,
notes, there's
so
still a significant
yeah.
impact to what
we're just
doing
on the
there.
finishing
And
up
we're gonna
stages
keep
of the stream
going
now
through
with the
and
patch notes, etc. But I
Right.
will
That's gonna be good.
make this live stream available once it's finished,
Yeah.
so you guys can rewatch the whole
Right, and
thing
so
if you want.
speaking of testing grounds, right, so
Good.
I might
segue.
do
Right.
some
we
like
had our last testing ground that ended,
videos of different parts of the stream as well, because
time is a blur right now.
It's
Just
busy.
'cause.
Yeah.
It's busy.
So
Everyone
the-
does it
the
anyway,
testing
so I might as well
Lawbringer,
do it as well.
The second iteration of Lawbringer, and
But yeah,
Bash
the new
Speeds. So I
hero
wanna talk specifically
looks
about
pretty
Bash
cool.
Speeds, because, Lawbringer is a
nothing
subject that we'll
massively
talk about,
different,
like, time.
nothing like
But first, Bash Speeds
crazy game
specifically,
changing.
I wanna
The
thank
most different
everybody for
thing is
participating.
the
Did an amazing
respawning.
job. We got a
He
lot
can
of
respawn
data.
anywhere he wants on the
We got
map.
some
That's
information
pretty
from
different.
some people in the community, like, like crazy Excel sheets with, like, reaction
But in
times.
terms of moveset,
Amazing
is
players.
pretty
We have
pretty
a good idea
standard.
of what speeds bashes should be from front dodge, so that's great. However, we will be taking a little bit more time than what people might expect to push it to live, just because we need to make sure that of what the impacts of this are going to be, right? So the testing ground was there for us to be able to determine what are the correct speeds. When are we supposed to be doing these things? What timing is it basically unreactable for everyone? But then there's other impacts, right? There's impacts to potential impacts to ganking, to frame advantage, to a bunch of different things. So now that we know kind of what speeds are optimal, and it turns out it's pretty much the same for everybody, so that's great.
That's good.
We were really hoping, like we were really looking into like if there's different options, is there a different impact on a lot of these things? And the answer ends up being pretty much no. So while we do have the number, the knock-on effects that this has means that we have to investigate a bit further, go deeper into it, and go what happens on like dodge cancel characters, for example, that go into a front dodge bash. Is stuff going to be guaranteed? What's going to be happening there? So we want to take our time a little bit to really investigate, go deeper into this. So it means it's going to take a little bit longer than everybody would have hoped. But I think it's an absolutely everyone's best interest to just wait a little bit more.
Yeah.
And so that we can release something that's going to be better for the entire community.
Sure.
We can go with that.
Totally makes sense.
Awesome.
Absolutely. Nice.
And then I
we
think
had
have-
one more thing.
Yeah,
right?
one more thing, right?
Okay.
It's not a major one more. Like it's not that
But
one
it's
more
cool.
thing. Yeah, but it's super cool, right?
It's cool though. Yeah.
So we're also adding a new quality of life thing, a little option when you're finishing matches and you get a lot of loot. So I know Max has a little video. So you can now tag multiple items when you are in the screen and then dismantle them all at once.
Nice.
So again, really shortens all that thing. I'm happy because I'm not gonna have to go into my inventory and like just.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was gonna say you can already do that in inventory, but yeah, I
Really
guess
well. So
yeah,
kudos
doing that
to,
at the end of the
like,
match,
UI
yeah, that's
team,
cool.
Because that's always worked for them.
That's cool.
And they're always swamped. So that's great.
They are,
Really good
yeah.
job there for code as well. So really amazing.
They need to increase the rate of steel you get though from matches because
Yeah, pretty much for
there's so much stuff in game that's like 20,000 steel, and it's like, man,
Well,
don't have
great.
enough
Yeah, I mean,
money.
short and sweet, but again, some really good quality of life stuff coming in there. So again, big thanks to the UI team too for adding that feature. Again, like you said, anytime you don't have to go into like a bunch of other menus to do something,
Yeah,
it's
it's
always
always-
better.
It's always.
So that's great. We appreciate that. Well, amazing. Well, JC, thank you so much for coming on, sharing all this information about the Ocelotl, the upcoming patch. We have an amazing season ready next week, so that's awesome. Yeah, same here. So, so for everybody still watching too, we have an outro coming up soon. We're gonna go over some fun things to look forward to. So don't go anywhere. Right back.